Greetings and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding because it's kind of getting into December and it's England, and the magpie is casting because he's just awesome. Haha, yeah, and so modest. Just kidding. Let's see now. We're going to be coming at you right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle featuring spawning in the west. It's going to be the United Kingdom forces of SturmTigerSage6. And spawning in the east, it's going to be the Overcommand West forces of Talisman. So Talisman at least a returning player to the channel, so welcome back to you, good sir. The map today is going to be Colodny Farmer, which is, it's one of these maps that's been in the game since forever. I'm sure you'll know it very well, but as the forces move out around the map, I will just have a little gentle pan around to refresh your memory, remind you where all the individual bits of soft and hard cover might be, where the actual capture points are, where the relevant buildings are, which windows they have, and which facings they have, and so on. And yes, apologies for the slight lack of costs recently. There was an update to the software, or one of the pieces of software that I use when I'm making casts and I'm putting the videos together, and that just crashed my computer. So every time I tried to run it, it would just crash. So I've obviously fixed that now, but it took me a little while. So yes, apologies for that. Now, let's see. The opening build order. Neither player has chosen a commander off the bat, and seems like we've got a Bren carrier coming out for the British forces. So this is a good map for the Bren carrier. Lots of open space. The Bren carrier works really well. If there was like no cover, no buildings, no nothing on a map at all, the Bren carrier would be a really, really, really good unit. And as you get more and more line of sight blockers and bits of cover for infantry to use and so forth, the Bren carrier's utility decreases. Now, that's kind of a generalization, because actually the flamethrower that it has works really well against infantry and cover, but generally speaking, fast mobile units, which are relatively fragile, do well on very open environments where they can abuse their mobility to the max. And that is going to be an instantaneous fallback from this unit of Volks. So Talisman not even willing to trade for a bit of damage to capture this point and get a couple of victory points there. Probably the right decision, because of course the manpower that he would have to spend reinforcing that Volk squad, pretty crucial at any stage in the game. The build order here for the Overcommand player looks like he's gone Volk into Kubelwagen. So we have a Kubelwagen. Now this is strange, because basically he got this Kubelwagen and he's allowed it to complete after he's seen the Universal Carrier. And the Universal Carrier is pretty good at dealing with Kubelwagens. Oh, these Storm Pioneers are going to try and deal some damage to this Universal Carrier up close. They're not going to do so well, I fear. Actually, having said that, they take off like 25% of its health. Able to get into this heavy cover, which really rather helps. But anyway, as I was saying, the Kubelwagen is countered pretty handily by the Universal Carrier, and the Universal Carrier is almost speedy enough to run it down as well, even if you try to retreat it. So this is an interesting choice here from Talisman. Now, I myself am a true Kubelwagen connoisseur, and I would recommend getting a Kubelwagen no matter the weather, no matter the situation, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So I'm really heartened to see that Talisman, a man after my own sort of heart, man after my own spirit, he's going to go for the Kubelwagen in spite of the Universal Carrier, which is fair enough. And I'll be honest, occasionally, if the Universal Carrier is firing at some of your infantry and you manage to sneak the Kubelwagen in and just get the Universal Carrier in arc and keep plinking away, like, the Kubelwagen can do okay damage. But see, now this is a situation that concerns me, because here we've got 4 Volksgrenadiers, not a lot for a Universal Carrier, and there's the Kubelwagen, and this could be a fantastic opportunity for the Bren carrier to vet up. But he's actually prioritising firing at these infantry, which is not what I would do. Look how little damage the Universal Carrier takes. This Kubelwagen's round's basically just bouncing. Now keep an eye on the minimap, because this isn't the only thing that's going on. Of course, we've got some Axis forces and some UK forces doing some capturing in the south right now. This Universal Carrier is actually going to have to retreat, because it was just in the arc of that Kubelwagen for long enough. And here comes another squad of Volks, so that is actually definitely going to have to fall back. Nearly 1 level of veterancy on that thing. Of course, 1 level of veterancy, pretty important, because it allows the plucky Universal Carrier to repair itself. Now, the building of choice here, going to be the battalion headquarters for Talisman. Can't agree with the positioning myself. I'm never a fan of putting it way back in the base. I like to have it as ambitiously placed as possible so that I can apply as much pressure as possible. But I do realise that's pretty much just personal preference, and that it is a very safe option to put it in the base. I just don't think you're making the most out of the benefits provided by this truck. This is a rant I have every game where somebody puts their Battlegriff HQ like within a screen's distance of their main HQ building. I'm sorry, I'll shut up about it one day. I just still think that that's 40 fuel, 200 manpower. That could have been better spent, because now you've got a bunch of medics in a place where they're not super useful. You've got the option for a forward fallback point in a place where it's useless, and Guru Huff. So, here comes another fight. Now this time the Universal Carrier is going to prioritise firing at the Kubelwagen. That's going to force the little jeep out of there. And the Universal Carrier is going to chase, actually. There we go. It's not quite as fast as the Kugelwagen, thank goodness. These Tommies now, they do have the med kit, which indicates, of course, that our British player has got the platoon command post. He's gone for Beaufort research behind this, and he's erected a Beaufort in this location. Now, this is a very strong location. I've seen British players put Beauforts down here before. It pretty much, out of Overcommand West, it requires you to get a double lag. There's no other counter if you've gone for Battle Gripper HQ, which you pretty much always do. So, yeah, that is going to be a double lag or bust here for the Overcommand player. I say that. It is possible to assault it from multiple angles with Shrap-equipped Volks and then try and get an incendiary grenade onto it. It's just very, very hard, and it can go wrong in a heartbeat. I mean, the amount of butt damage that the Beaufort deals, I mean, check this out, really doesn't take prisoners. A bum, 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 just smashing these Stormfighters. Wow, they actually escaped with relatively little damage on them. Look at the range on this thing. There we go. And yeah, for all that the Beaufort was, in inverted commas, nerfed, it is still an absurd damage dealer, and for me, I basically would describe it as an infantry exclusion zone. If your infantry are in range of that Beaufort, you stand to get squad wiped with very little notice, incredibly quickly, even if you press the fallback button. Yes, that's right, it still does dramatic damage to falling back squads, or at least has the potential to. It's just not quite as stupidly reliable as it used to be. Anyway, looks like we've got the flamethrower projector just now coming up on the Universal Carrier. 1 star of veterancy on that thing, so it can now repair itself. It's going to come over here, and that's probably going to deal with these infantry in this Kugelwagen here. I can't imagine those units putting up much of a fight against a Wasp-equipped Bren carrier. Meanwhile, down in the south, we've got some Jaeger light infantry, which means that, of course, our Overcommand player, Talisman, has selected the Scavenge Doctrine to be his commander. And that's going to give him access to the powerful Jaeger light infantry. I'm a little surprised to see him go for the Jaeger light infantry at this early juncture when he knows that there's a Beaufort on the field. That is unusual. Anyway, these Volksgrenadiers, they do have a Panzerschreck, and they're going to get a hit on the Universal Carrier. That's going to force it back. Now, they are sort of running through flames here. They're going to try and get the kill. I think if they started moving earlier, they could have gotten a second shot. If they started moving right after they fired the first one in this direction, then they could have probably gotten a second shot around here to try and get the kill on the Universal Carrier. It looks like the Kugelwagen are going to take an ill-advised sort of pursuit, but you've got to respect the Beaufort. And it looks like we've got a mortar position coming up alongside the Beaufort. So SturmTigerSage6 here, making full use of the British emplacements. He's going to be digging in hard in this location, and you can't really blame him. This mortar pit here is going to cover 2 victory points, a fuel point, a munition point, and a number of other points, and generally just be super annoying. It also gives that Beaufort quite a measure of protection against a potential light gun. Now, these Jaeger light infantry have an opportunity to grab a squad wipe here. This Vickers gunner falling back. Here's the sniper shot. Oh, it's a miss. If that was a hit, that would have been the squad wipe. So cruelly denied there. Vickers guns, of course, pretty much the easiest thing to donate to your opponent if you're playing as British forces. My friends and I sort of have a little running joke where we say that it is customary to donate 1 Vickers machine gun to your opponent in the early game, because it basically always happens, whether we're playing against them or whether we're playing with them. A Vickers gun will change hands, usually in the early game. Now, I don't know if that says something about our level of play or whatever, but we find it very amusing. And anyway, Kugelwagen is going to be supporting these Volks here. This is quite a nice position, actually, because look, here comes the Universal Carrier. It's just going to get a Shrek to the face. Whoosh, bim. And that pretty much means it's going to stay for a bit more damage. I'm not sure. It's staying quite a long time. Okay, that was professionally timed there. Uh-oh. These Volks need to get out. Oh, my goodness. They stand to get squad wiped here. They could well get squad wiped. Oh, those Royal Engineers. Thankfully, the suppression on the Kugelwagen is going to probably save their life. These mortars landing a little close here. And the Kugelwagen. Oh, no. Oh, no. Please don't say it's been forgotten about. Don't forget about the Kugelwagen. Maybe he's just trying for damage on the Universal Carrier. Ugh. Man, the flamethrower doesn't do as much damage to the Kugelwagen as I thought, actually. The Kugelwagen sort of seems to be winning that somehow, but it's like a mortar hit away from that changing completely. Yeah, and the Universal Carrier is catching up. 2 stars now on the Universal Carrier. Axis forces, though, resurgent in the south of the map. The Schwerer Panzer HQ has been established here. Awkwardly, this point still never captured. I'm sure he'll get round to that at some point. Light gun is now in position. Now, he probably is going to want to grab another one of these. He's going for the Schwerer Panzer HQ, not the Mechanized Regiment HQ, which indicates to me that he is not going to go and go for a Stucker-Fuss. Of course, the Stucker-Fuss answers these positions reasonably cleanly, actually. It does a good amount of bonus damage to British emplacements. And, of course, these 2 emplacements are nicely in a line so that you can fire across them with the Stucker-Fuss. Yeah, that's not going to be the choice here. The mortar position is going to be counter-firing at the Lig, and we'll see if that can get it done. I think if I was the Overcommand player, I would rather prioritise the mortar pit over the Beaufort, but that is not what he's doing apparently. He's just continuing to hoon the Beaufort here. That structure is now braced, and that is going to allow it to absorb a massive amount of bonus damage. Now he knows it's braced, of course, so here comes the assault from infantry, and he's going to really try and crack this position here. We could see some sort of a grenade put down onto the mortar pit. Oh no, it's going to be onto the Beaufort. Not sure about this actually. I think it would have been better spent on the mortar pit. And here comes the British response. We've got 2 squads of Tommies, 1 star with medkits coming in from the left of the screen here. No 5-man squad upgrade from them. These guys are going to get into position in heavy cover. That's a nice position. The Beaufort comes back online, and these Volksgrenadiers have to run for it. As I imagine, well, these guys, they're going to try for a grenade barrage, but they're standing in fire. There's a Beaufort 2 centimeters from them, but the Beaufort gets taken out by a massive light hit. Fantastic work there. The grenade barrage comes down, and that is going to detonate the Beaufort. Wow. Talisman able to clear out one of the British emplacements, and that makes this hard point here for the British forces a lot less threatening. The infantry exclusion zone has been thwarted. And both players, I mean, the score difference here, the Axis force is leading at 437 over 429, but presently bleeding, so as near as makes no difference there. It's pretty much a tied game as we move into what I would call now the early mid-game. Now let's take a look. The British player still doesn't have his platoon command post. He doesn't actually have enough fuel for that. Awkwardly, he's actually floating manpower, which is really unusual for British forces, especially after they've built like 2 emplacements. I guess he's only got 2 squads of Tommies, which is pretty low actually. No sniper. So that's pretty unusual. This Lig here, I imagine, is barraging this building or something like that. I'd like to see him get a second Lig Talisman, because when you're playing against British forces, that second Lig just allows you to pressure down those emplacements really nicely. Now, the Universal Carrier gets taken out here. I think that was a Shrek from this squad and follow-up fire from the Kubelwagen. So, wow, the Kubelwagen actually taking that one. Uh-oh, but the mortars are landing on the Kubel. There we go. He's going to get out. Now, I think it's a 3-star, the Kubelwagen, yeah, automatically repairs itself. Oh, I love Kubelwagens. I'm super sad that they're going to be changing them in the December patch, by the way, according to the patch notes. For those of you who don't know, I'll just recap. The Kubelwagen is going to lose all suppression, it's going to get some more armor, and it's going to be able to capture points slightly faster than regular infantry. So it's going to become like a harassment, a flank harasser or something. But it's not going to have suppression, so it's not going to act like a machine gun, and microing it is going to be completely different, and that makes me sad because I really like the Kubelwagen. So anyway, enough about that. Back to the game. So let's see now. He has enough fuel, he has the manpower actually, so he should really go for this company command post upgrade. Now would be a really good time for SturmTigerSage. I feel like if he doesn't, he's going to fall behind. I mean, the Overcommand player has nearly enough fuel for a Panzer IV, and if he decides to keep saving, he can have his pick of a Jagdpanzer IV or a Panther or whatever. Even a Panzer II would be reasonable against the forces on the field right now. So I think the company command post needs to come down sooner rather than later. A 6-pounder has been added in, like, preemptively. So that's, like, gonna help. Although not quite yet. You know what, actually, it could just smash this Kubelwagen if the two of them meet. But anyway, Kubelwagen's going to find some Tommies as they build these sandbags. These Tommies need to start falling back. Of course, they do take bonus damage whilst they're constructing, so that is really painful. And now they're getting suppressed, and there's Volksgrenadiers nearby, so that's all bad times. Taking the northern victory point is the British player SturmTigerSage. Taking the middle victory point is the Axis player Talisman. So quite some territory changing hands. Sorry. Storm Pioneers are going to grab this position, so it looks like the south of the map pretty much staying in Axis control right now. Now here comes a kind of an assault from these Volksgrenadiers and the Jägerlight infantry supporting them. Now there's a Vickers in a great position behind them. The Vickers does have the 1-star veterancy, so the range is pretty large. The mortar pit braces, the Royal Engineers with Bren gun, able to force those infantry back. But here comes some Volks from a different angle. The Vickers gun going to have to relocate now. We need to see an incendiary grenade, and there it is. Boom! The incendiary grenade into the building. That is going to start burning out this Vickers, who needs to reposition. Whoa, down to 3 men and still taking heavy damage from the incendiary grenade. Oh my goodness, he's not going to lose this Vickers, is he? Oh no, down to 1 man, surely not. There we go, there we go. The fallback comes down. There we go, he's going to get it out of there. A 2-star Vickers is quite the asset, and losing that would really suck. Thank goodness SturmTigerSage gets that one out. Now this mortar position is beginning to lose the battle against the light gun here. The two have been exchanging for some time now. Oh, having said that, you know what, it's on the verge of winning the battle as well, but it gets decrewed. So the mortar position is now out of action. That leaves the British player trailing by some 13 or 14 supply right now. And he's not exactly stacking a lot of resources. You know what, he still doesn't have his company command post. Oh my goodness. This is pretty late now. We're coming up to the 15-minute mark. There's a Panzer IV coming onto the field, and he needs to get that sooner rather than later. The reason I say this is because he's now stacking 186 fuel, and he just doesn't really have anything to spend it on, and fuel is usually your most potent resource. I mean, it gets you your most powerful units for all of the factions, so you want to be able to spend it in a timely manner, and that is not being achieved right now for the British player. Now, Panzer IV's on the field, the MD42 upgrade has been taken at good timing, so that'll be ready sooner rather than later, and it's just going to start laying in some Tommies here. We've got some Jaeger lights up in this building, they're going to be taking sniper shots, the 6-pounder comes across, and that's going to force the Panzer IV to relocate. Of course, the extended line of sight. Remember, these Jaeger light infantry have very long line of sight. They are scouting infantry, so they're going to see the 6-pounder, and that's why we see the Panzer IV move out of the way. So good use of combined arms there, just trying to minimize losses and maximize gains there from Talisman. So yeah, you know, doing what he can. A good incendiary followed by a regular grenade cluster barrage of the infiltration grenades package being used there. Oh, this Vickers needs to fall back. He's just doing regular walking. Oh, please don't try and deploy the Vickers, you crazy man. Okay, there we go. The Vickers has been dropped, and let's see if these Volks are going to actually pick it up. We've got a massive land grab going on for the Axis up in the north, and the British forces aren't falling really. They're like 11 tickets behind right now, but if this kind of trend continues, we could see a bit of a score gap opening up. Yep, the Vickers is stolen, as is tradition, a little bit later than usual, but finally the traditional passing of the Vickers gun has occurred. Looks like these Royal Engineers are going to try and patch up the mortar pit. I imagine they'll recrew it when they're done, or another squad will hop on in there. Is that the sound of okay, I know. We've got some Tommies here in heavy cover. The Panzer IV more than happy to come in and start chipping in some damage against them. That MG42 pintle mount is now completed. Meanwhile, up in the north, we've got a Kubelwagen in a pretty decent position. Now, it's not actually firing. Whoa! I say a pretty decent position. 6-pounder has something to say about that. Obersoldaten are now on the field for the Axis player. And right now, this is a game. The story of this game so far is that the Brits put up a spirited fight with a nice hard point here, but the Axis commander has been able to overcome it, and the Blitz are now floundering just a little bit. Now, it all pretty much comes down to these next couple of minutes, I would say, because now the Axis forces have a massive edge, and the British forces are going to need to do something. Look, they're falling behind on supply. They're very manpower-intensive forces at the best of times. Every squad lost right now for the British forces is utterly punishing, whereas conversely, the Overcommand forces, much floatier in terms of manpower. You always tend to have more manpower in the bank when you play as Overcommand. And that's going to start becoming more and more pronounced as the game goes on, because SturmTigerSage is going to need... Wow, he's like floating 700 manpower and 240 fuel. Please, for the love of God, buy your command post. There is no need, no reasoning not to be buying this company command post. I'm going to need a sip of tea to help me out here. I'm in shock. Just bear with me. And we've got the mortar cover ability being used on this sector, so that automatically attacks enemies with high explosive and white phosphorus shells, so that's going to be pretty painful. Whoa, some of that white phosphorus kind of landing on the mortar pit here. Not quite the mortar support that they had in mind. Whoa, a commando glider just going to come flailing in. Commandos inserted into a fantastic position, actually. They're going to get right on top of these Obersoldaten and force them out of the building. A light gammon bomb comes down into the building. The Obersoldaten are going to fall back immediately out of respect for the immense amount of DPS provided by the British commandos. Unit of Tommies just capping in the south. Let's check out what's going on in mid. We've got an MG... No, sorry, that's a Vickers up in that building for the Axis forces, mind, because they stole it earlier, remember? Ours is tradition. Ours is tradition. And actually, these commandos are going to start taking the top, so please get your company command. If he was getting his company command post behind this, I'd feel so much better for the British player. I am deeply concerned. I mean, what's he going to spend his fuel on? He hasn't gone for a commander that has a crocodile at the end or anything, so it's not like he's saving for some kind of Ava or a crocodile or anything spicy like that. No, he's just deciding that he's going to play hard mode and try and win without, like, hit tier 3 units for the British forces. I just... what... And like the thing is, he has all the resources and has had all the resources for like the last 5 or 10 minutes to purchase the company command post. So it's not like, even if he'd have bought it and then done nothing with it, he'd still be in the exact same position, because he's never been flatlining on manpower or fuel. So I'm very confused. Anyway, 6-pounder here finds the Panzer IV. That's going to force the tank out. A gammon bomb comes down and gets a squad wipe on a unit of infantry that were in this building. Now, I believe they were Jaeger lights, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, I didn't quite have time to see before it got blown up. The 2 6-pounders now gonna probably... Whoa, I don't know about the positioning on this Panzer IV. Rear armor facing totally towards the enemy. 6-pounders do not take prisoners, and that Panzer IV, yeah, he's gonna make himself scarce and get the hell out of there. Now, Talisman, the Overcommand player, has like 120 fuel, so he could think about a second armored choice quite soon. Pretty luxurious position for an Overcommand player to find themselves in, actually. Wow, this Vickers gun just being super annoying in this building. It has the range upgrade, whereas the Vickers for the Axis player here does not. So that's... Oh no, it doesn't have the range upgrade. My mistake. It just looked like it. Of course, 1-star of veterancy when that range upgrade starts kicking in. Now, Royal Engineers here, they've got a Bren gun, loads of grenades going to be swarming all over them. Whoa, needs to be a fallback here, Mr. British player. Whoa, the old gravitic discharge caused by the destroying glider, a bug that's been in the game for, well, since there's been gliders in the game. Yep, nothing to worry about there. Don't worry, the laws of physics will continue to operate normally from this point on, hopefully, maybe. And so, yeah, the Panzer IV getting repaired by Storm Pioneers. Of course, they repair things incredibly quickly. And I still fear... Oh, yay, the company command post! Woohoo! Okay, way! My fears are, like, somewhat assuaged now. This is... Yay! Okay, so he now has access to a fantastic roster of units. For British players out there who didn't know, having a company command post allows you to buy the Centaur, the Cromwell, the Comet if you take Hammer, the Churchill if you take Anvil, and the fearsome Firefly. So, pretty good building, I think it's fair to say. He's going to go for Anvil. Hang on a second, has he added this up? Alright, I take it back. Yeah, it turns out SturmTiger might have known what he was doing delaying this long. Maybe. I don't know, I'm still not convinced, but basically, he's gone for Anvil, and he has almost the exact amount of fuel left in reserve, so when Anvil research completes, if he had the manpower, which he's miles away on, he could purchase a Churchill. So maybe he had this in mind all along. Maybe he thought my first armoured choice is going to be a Churchill. Touch awkward though, because it means this Panzer IV has been on the field for like some time, just like doing work, and we've got a second Panzer IV coming out. Now, pardon me, obviously a Churchill will counter a Panzer IV and force it away. It shouldn't kill the Panzer IV ever, because the Panzer IV is, pardon me, just faster, but two Panzer IVs? They could probably do some work to a Churchill, actually. And they're going to have to, because there's not much other AT in this force, just two Panzerschrecks for the Overcommand player, which may be enough against a Churchill. Maybe two Panzerschrecks and two Panzer IVs is a reasonable amount to bring to bear against one Churchill. Now, the Churchill, of course, does have very good armour, or let's just say good armour, actually, and it also has a very good pool of hit points, so we'll have to see whether that's going to be sufficient anti-tank. If he just does something nuts, like chooses a Firefly, even after going for Anvil research, then I just don't even know what I'm watching anymore. Anyway, 6-pounder in a good position here. This Panzer IV has been forgotten about, seemingly. Need to get out. It may already be too late. Yeah, it's too late. Another 6-pounder going to join in, so kind of just throwing away a Panzer IV there for nothing. That was incredibly ambitious, just throwing it out into fog of war. You know your opponent has two 6-pounders, so that's pretty risky. Let's see, Volksgrenadiers in this, but this building's on really low health actually, so it could get destroyed. Now, the light gun is doing some fantastic work suppressing this horde here. I do love the engine in this game. Look at that smouldering church. That just looks really cool. Anyway, Commando squad own 2 men. They need to get a fallback on, I think. Ah, the Panzer IV is wasting into them. There we go. There comes the fallback. But that was risky stuff. A live shell in the wrong place, and that would have been all over. Now, these Storm Pioneers, they're going to get up close. 2-star veterancy, one of the most important levels for giving them the increased damage. So they're going to swipe that before they have to get out. Bren gun equipped Tommies, though. The DPS on them pretty fierce. Now, it looks like the Axis player wisely deciding not to use this building. It's on so low of health right now that any unit that goes into it stands to be wiped pretty quickly. And if I crack the tack, you can see the situation right here for the British player. A good composition of Axis units has a pretty nice spread across the map and is almost got a siege line outside the British base. Things looking pretty dire right now for SturmTigerSage. He's out of manpower, he's lowish on fuel, the Churchill's coming though, and he has enough squads to make a comeback. So he's also only about, you know, he's like 44 tickets behind, 47 now, which is like, so this is easily doable. This is easily doable. Company of Heroes is one of these games where each team has like phases of strength and then phases where they're behind. And sometimes that's not due to the players at all. Sometimes that's just because certain teams have strengths and weaknesses at various phases in the game. Sometimes it's because of how the game's gone. But it always happens in every game. There'll be phases of strength and weakness, unless it was an incredibly one-sided affair. And in Company of Heroes, you've just got to accept that that's okay. You can be forced back to your base. Everything can look terrible, but as long as you just hold on and keep fighting, there's like it's really easy to have comebacks and indeed swings in Company of Heroes. Like sometimes you can be losing horribly and come back for the win. Sometimes you can be like, you know, pinning your opponent down in their base and they can break out. I mean, there's examples on my channel. It happens very often. I think more so than any other RTS I've ever watched. Company of Heroes 2 is the one where comebacks and swings of power are the most possible and the most happen the most often. Now these Volksgrenadiers are 2-star with a Panzerschreck in a very wounded building. Yeah, they're going to get out. The Churchill It looks like it's going to take a sneaky line here, so it's not going to get spotted till it comes around this corner. Hello! Let's see if I just turn on the fog of war, you can see what Talisman is seeing. Now he needs to get this Volk squad out of there. 3 of them get killed as soon as the Churchill appears. Looks like they're going to get squad wiped. Oh dearie me. Talisman, that was a slow response, my friend. Needed to get those guys out of there. The 6-pounders are moving. What? Did he just kill both of these squads of Volks? Horrendous. And now he's going to start working on these. Oh my god, a triple squad wipe from the British player. And what was I just saying? He may well be able to make it out of here. For what looked like previously a horrible situation, he inflicts like a triple squad wipe. My god, these Volks are in negative cover, boy. What is going on here, Talisman? Talisman's kind of being a bit flustered here. It feels like he's falling apart just a little bit. This Vickers gun's going to have to get out. The Panzer IV arrives, a Rakettenwerfer just behind it, and that's going to be some slightly more stern resistance. The Churchill's going to advance into this? I'm not sure. Oh, is he going to go for the grenade on the Rakettenwerfer? Yes, this needs to be a fallback. Oh dear, has he forgotten that he can throw grenades? Yep, he's forgotten. Oh, he's going to try and move. But remember, of course, the grenades that Churchills throw are like super incendiary plasma grenades of death and basically always kill a squad if they hit it. Now the Schwerer Panzer HQ is going to try and do something. You cannot sit here and trade with the Panzer IV, my friend. You need to kite and use the Panzer IV's superior cannon and accuracy. Oof, there we go. Yeah, you need to get that one repairing. Now Talisman has the fuel, and he doesn't have the manpower right now, but he will soon. If I was him, this would be Panzer IV time, because your opponent has a freaking Churchill on the field. Now here comes the artillery call-in. So this is the 105mm howitzer barrage. It's not going to be a very prolonged or intensive barrage because he doesn't have very many munitions stored afterwards. And in fact, he's mostly going to miss. There's a chance he might just get a hit on this 6-pounder, but I don't think so. Whoa, the Panzer IV needs to not take this fight. He needs to not come forwards anyway. And he's actually managed to whittle the Churchill down to like 2/3 of its health right now. Oh, don't get greedy, my friend. Don't get greedy. Do not get greedy. That Panzer IV needs to stay on back. Likewise, this Churchill could really use some Royal Engineers. Where on earth are they? Here they are. They've got the anvil upgrade, so they're going to repair that Churchill very quickly. And it seems that SturmTigerSage's preferred style with the British forces is a much more defensive style, relying on emplacements, relying on the Churchill, just the regular old Joe Churchill. No crocodile, no Ava, no fancy schmancy upgraded Churchills. It's just the regular old factory run-of-the-mill Churchill, but he's supporting it well with 5-man squads, many of whom have Bren guns and so on, and you know, he's using the commando glider. Oh, you know what, he's got the bombing operation. Now if he manages to accumulate enough resources for that, that would be a really nice way of answering this truck or even slaughtering some of the Overcommand players' base. An Ostwind? Really? That's what you're going to spend 100 fuel on? Okay. I'm not sure I understand this choice. I'd love to speak to Talisman and ask him what his reasoning on picking that Ostwind is, because for my money, he's not having a problem with controlling his backfield, he's not having a problem with flanking waves of infantry, and he's not having a problem with losing massive infantry, losing fights to massive infantry blobs. And those are the situations when I typically go for an Ostwind. Now, I mean, he had enough fuel. If you add 100, which is what the Ostwind costs, to this fuel count, and add the amount of manpower, he could have had a Panther instead, and the Panther is a much cleaner answer. I mean, it basically does what the Ostwind will be doing in this circumstance, but also gives you a lot of game against the Churchill. So, slightly perplexed, I guess, I would say I am, by the choice here of an Ostwind. And dare I say it, it's very easy to call in an Ostwind, because imagine when you're playing, you've got this big flashing Ostwind button. Okay, it's not flashing, but you've got this big high-lit Ostwind button here. You can just be like, click, click, Ostwind arrives, and it's just like, it's very easy to do. I've been there myself. With call-in units, you can just be like, oh, we need another tank, any tank, it's a good one, yay. So, now, I'm not saying that that's what Talisman has done. Talisman is a way better player than I am. He's up here at the top of the live lobby, ladder game, live lobby game thingy. You know what I mean. Ooh, good grenade, forces the fallback there. So yeah, he's top of the live games lobby, and definitely knows what he's doing. So I don't know, he may well have plans for this Ostwind, but hasn't fired a shot. Oh no, he's killed 2 guys. I'll take that back as well. So anyway, Churchill has been fully repaired. It's up to 1-star veterancy now, so that allows all of the hatches around the Churchill to be used by the crew to open and fire out with little submachine guns and stuff, so they will defend the vehicle at close range. Just basically adds a lot of damage against infantry when you just kind of throw the Churchill. Whoa, what is going on here? Panzer IV just frantically reversing into just a crazy direction. That's going to lead it to take a hit or 2 into the rear armor, just 1. That was a bit sketchy. Wow, careful with your vehicle micro there, Talisman, my friend. So anyway, yeah, Liground's going to still be doing good work. That Lig is up to 3 stars now. Oof, that is a pretty good Lig. What does it get at 3 stars then? Increases the barrage range and enables the crew to ready the weapon faster for subsequent barrages. Well, that all sounds very useful. Cool. And seems like we now have the Mechanized Regiment HQ established here, so this is going to enable him to repair vehicles in about this kind of a radius, which is going to be quite useful. I still worry. I still think a Jagdpanzer IV would have been like a really, really strong choice, and I still think a Panther would have been like the strongest choice. If he calls in another Oswin now, I'm going to be so, like, confused. He's got the fuel. Anyway, he's going to use some Jaeger light infantry, so they're going to spawn on the map right now. These Obersoldaten are being awfully brave. The grenade comes down, but that's going to miss. And actually, you know what? That Churchill, sorry, is taking a lot of fire. The Rakettenwerfer, the 2 Shreks here. This Panzer IV could think about taking, like, moving to this location and then coming in from this angle. It's a little late now. Actually, you know what? With the 2 6-pounders here, forget I ever said anything. That would have been suicide for the Panzer IV. My bad. Obersoldaten here getting some work done. The score difference now, 3-1-6 for the Axis player, 1-3-2 for the British player. So he's going to need to start getting stuff together a bit more. He holds one of the victory points. These engineers up here doing a good job keeping that one under control. And then... Yep, okay, so here comes the assault, I guess. What does the Churchill get at 2 stars? Reload the main gun and position the turret more quickly. Oh, well, that sounds incredibly useful. Okay, so this Churchill now somewhat of a force to be reckoned with. Oh, the Oswin doing some good work here, getting some fantastic hits on the advancing infantry. The 6-pounder's not in position to screen the Oswin, and it's going to back up in response to the fact that they are moving out. Now, with these, where are the Jaeger light infantry? Okay, I guess he just knows that there are 6-pounders back there that he doesn't want to fall victim to. Oh my god, look, he's using the Oswin at maximum range here. To score some fantastic hits on these capping infantry. It's not going to be enough to stop the cap, but actually he's got 3 squads about to take the one in the north, so that is the counter to this move out here from the Brits. Now, he's taking fire from 6-pounders, so he needs to get out of there. And he will. My goodness, this camo is actually pretty spicy. That's really cool. I think I've got that camo, actually. I might throw that one on. It's pretty cool. Anyway, oh, the Churchill just getting some really good hits here on the Panzer IV. Trading pretty well. This Panzer IV on 1 star. What does it get at 2 star? Operate the main gun. So that sounds pretty useful. Basically, a main gun upgrade in terms of rate of fire and accuracy, or turret traverse accuracy, I should say. So anyway, yeah, these Royal Engineers are probably going to be sufficient to defeat it. They need to stand still so that they can use the Vickers K accurately. Oh my goodness, an incendiary grenade comes down in a nice position. And of course, remember, Royal Engineers, once they've been upgraded to Anvil, when they're in combat, they are reduced to walking at this speed because they're carrying so much gear. So they were forced to walk all the way through that burn there, but they're heading on up to capture the north position. Now, the question is, with the Churchill and the Engineers up at the north, can the Axis player Talisman claim the middle back? And if he can, he's going to stay on top. The British player, he's just bleeding tickets at the moment, so it is going to be... it's basically on him to try and get 2 of the victory points. But actually, right now, he's kind of making happen. He's actually turning this around quite nicely. 6-pounder gets set up in a fantastic position, actually. This is a great position. It's soft cover, and it covers like all the way out to like here. And he can turn it to face the south or towards the east as and when his opponent's armor reveals itself. We've got a second Churchill coming out. Wow! SturmTigerSage really likes the good old Churchill. Oh, this is pretty cool, actually. This has turned out to be a pretty great game so far. I'm enjoying this. Not often you see the regular Churchill. It's all about the crocodile and things these days, you know, because it's just kind of like a Churchill but with a massive flamer on the front. But so it's nice to see that the actual vanilla Churchill can like still pull its weight. Oh, these Storm Pioneers going to get a squad right there. There's another 6-pounder. They see it. This is worth pushing for. I would push for that. Oh, he's going to decide to capture the point instead. Now this is still valuable, but I think just running your Storm Pioneers over here, grabbing that other 6-pounder, and then coming back pretty good. In fact, you know what? Who am I kidding? I wouldn't even come back. I'd salvage them both and try to, because that would actually remove them so your opponent couldn't like reman them. Anyway, mortar support going to come down in this position. White Phosphorus is landing on these forces, and that's going to be doing them a lot of damage. The Panzer IV right now, for some reason, focusing this Vickers of Machine Gun, and I don't think it wants to be doing that. It's going to have to reverse pretty pronto here. This Churchill is going to do a lot of work. Grenade comes down. That's going to force the Volks back, and... were the other Volks destroyed? Oh dear, he loses a squad of Volks there. Yep, a squad of Volks lost here thanks to the White Phosphorus and the Churchills, plural, although I think it was mostly this one that did all the work. But 2 Churchills, I mean, dude, you need a Jagdpanzer or a Panther, my friend Talisman. It is time. It is time for those. And I feel like this little phase here where, I mean, like, because he's losing right now. Talisman is losing because the British forces are slowly pushing forwards, and they've grabbed 2 of the victory points, and he's losing lots of squads of infantry. And I just think none of this would have occurred. This has all occurred because he chose this Ostwind, which has given his opponent a window where these Churchills are super usable. These Churchills become a lot less usable if you have a Jagdpanzer IV or a Panther on the field. You know, it becomes much harder to use a reasonably slow, heavy tank when it's being sniped at by potent AT guns, as found on the Jagdpanzer and the Panther. So, in my opinion, this Ostwind, yes, it's managed to get like 14 kills. Yes, it's nearly 2-star veterancy. But yes, I still think it was a mistake to buy. Rakettenwerfer here going to try for a shot. That's just going to bounce. And there's going to be a grenade coming down off this Churchill, probably sooner rather than later. The light gun also forced to scurry out of it. Look how fast they are when they're 2-star. I think it's 2-star. They get a maneuverability upgrade and they can just get the gun out of danger like faster. This just fall this back. Fall this back. No. Boom. That needed to be a fallback like ages ago. Oh well. Talisman getting reasonably flustered here. He needs to just kind of just calm himself, remind himself that he's still winning this game. And oh wow, yeah, okay, so this Panzer IV is now 2 stars. It's been a long time vetting up that Panzer IV. Panzer IV is normally, one of the good things about them is that they vet up at a reasonable pace, you know, a reasonable chop. Anyway, here comes the other Churchill, and now we're going to have both Churchills for the first time fighting fit and ready on the front lines. Here they come, these Obersoldaten need to get out. These Volksgrenadiers need to really get out. That's a 4-star squad with a Panzerschreck on 2 men, being nearly overrun by this Churchill. Oh, here comes another grenade. That'll be the end of that Rakettenwerfer. So powerful. And this Panzer IV, more than happy to take care of these commandos, but I'm wondering if that's the best position for it. Oh god, get these Volks out of here. There we go, they're going to get out. Oh, a squad wipe comes down. Another grenade used there. This Churchill now up to 3-star. Look how fast that thing is. He's going to smash the Ostwind, and we've got a Panther coming, but it may be too late now. The damage is being done. The window of usability, as it were, provided to these 2 Churchills by the choice of the Ostwind out of Talisman is being exploited by the British player here. And he smells blood in the water. He's pushing through with a lot of stuff here. Oh no, I don't like this fight at all. You need to turn the Panzer IV. Turn it. Turn it. Oh my goodness me, he needs to get this Panzer IV out of here. Right now, a grenade comes down on the light gun. That is going to inflict only 2 crew members down. He's just going to smash it with the main gun. No, that light gun's going to scurry away. Run, boys. Oh, no. Schnell, Hans, schnell. Oh, no. So that is going to die. 6-pounder now besieging the Schwerer Panzer HQ with this Churchill. The Panzer IV isn't taking shots. Its line of sight must be blocked. The Panther is going to enter the field now, but the Talisman is at 67 supply. Actually, over 65. All right, so somehow... Oh, wow, actually, I didn't see. Look at the top left, actually. There's hardly any infantry supporting these Churchills for the British player. And he's actually floating enough manpower to get something done. He could call in a glider. I would rather he just built some Tommies, actually. He doesn't know Tommies right now. Anyway, here comes... Oh no, the Panther IV finds itself up against the ropes. This Panther is horribly exposed if the second... Oh, here comes the 6-pounder, and if the second Churchill joins the fight from the right angle, this Panther is going to be forfeit. Oh my gosh, somehow the Panzers are actually manhandling this Churchill a little bit. Well, the Panzer IV is up for it. He comes forward, he gets another glancing hit. Now the 6-pounder is positioned. It's going to start taking shots. The Panther's in jeopardy. You can't keep fighting here, my friend. He dives into the line of sight blocker here, but I think the Churchill might get the final hit. Oh my god, these 2 tanks are basically pinned here by this AT gun. How are they going to get out? They're going to have to reverse down here. Does Talisman realise it? He appears to. He appears to realise that this is the case. The 6-pounder is going to pick up in GTFO. This Panther, just get it out. Get it out. This is your entire game right here, and it's driving around with its rear armour facing the opponent. And now it's just stopped somewhere random. Talisman, boy, what you doing? There we go. Woo! Oh man, this is almost more than I can take. So Obersoldaten going to be claiming the north. This 3-star Churchill's in a crazy location as well. There's no engineers up here, buddy. You need to get that back to base. Anyway, so here comes the other Churchill. This one's now up to 1-star, so it's going to be able to defend itself with the little hatches and the crew firing out of there, which is pretty cool stuff. Panzer IV here going to be repairing now. There are no Storm Pioneers. They're on the way now, but basically what this means is, annoyingly, Talisman cannot tell these engineers to repair the Panther over the Panzer IV, so that's annoying for a start. And it's also going to take ages to repair these tanks, so that's annoying too. I don't like the positioning on these tanks. I know that they're repairing, and I know that they are, in inverted commas, behind the lines and out of combat. But that doesn't mean that your opponent's not just going to storm in here with 2 Churchills, and when he does, you want the front armour facing the right direction. I don't know, it's small things like this, but as I've said before, when you're at the high level of play, the only thing that makes a difference is the small things, because nobody's going to make big mistakes, or at least, you know, less frequently anyway. So it's the small things that always decide things at the high level of play, always the little things. So anyway, these Volks are going to try and get a capture done here in mid. They're just going to dance with this Cromwell for a while. Grenade comes out. That's going to miss. Commando's going to come in, though, and that's going to force the fallback. 100 points between the two players. 100-point lead here for Talisman and the Overcommand forces. The Storm Pioneers are here. The Panzer IV now ready to rock. That thing's 3-star. So at 3-star, I believe it's increased mobility. Yes, mobility, rate of fire. Now, if you combine that with the accuracy and turret traverse that it gets at 2-star, this Panzer IV is actually now somewhat reasonable against Churchills. Oh, he's just going to drive it. Oh, I have to turn on Fog of War. He's just driving this thing out into Fog of War when he knows there's 2 Churchills and 2 6-pounders, or at least 1 6-pounder out there. This is kind of madness. How does he see this? Oh, he's got some Jaeger lights here. Oh, wow, he gets the Panzer IV into a great position, kind of in the rear armour of the Churchill. So that actually worked out really well. So fair enough, I guess. The Ostwind is still alive. This thing has done like... Oh no, this is a new Ostwind. Why are you spending 100 fuel on an Ostwind? I suppose, actually, that does make some sense. Because your opponent has very little infantry, and having a unit very good at just killing them is actually going to do really well. Whoa, 2 bounces off the armour on this Panzer IV. That's pretty spicy. The Panther is now ready to join the scuffle as well, so he's going to come on in. He's nearly 1-star. I think you need to back up. Yeah, I think you need to back up this Panzer IV. You need to choose which of these Churchills you want to destroy. There are 3 Churchills on the field right now? Oh my goodness, sorry, I just noticed that there are 3 Churchills. The 3-star one is up here at the north. That's not going to be there in time to prevent the cap, but he needs to prioritise and kill one of these Churchills immediately and start weeding down their numbers. Where is he going? Okay, the Ostwind's going to find the 6-pounder. That's totally awesome. He's going to hoover that up. And now there might be a window for the Panther and the Panzer IV to grab a Churchill. They've got to get it done. If they're going to do it soon, if they're going to do it, it's got to be soon. Oh, he doesn't know that there's that Churchill's there, though. I've just turned on Fog of War so you can see. He just doesn't see it. Okay, now he does. Is he going to go for it? He's going to go for the 3-star one. Okay, I kind of like this because the 3-star one is, like, exposed. It doesn't have the support of its 2 friends. Ostwind here in a decent position to stop any run by infantry, so this should be a dead Churchill. This Panzer IV is now 4-star. Increasing weapon range and accuracy. Increased range? Ugh. I mean, I really should know these veterances, seeing as how I play Overcommand a reasonable amount, but damn, increased range. Oof, spicy. At Veterancy 3, they can repair engine-related criticals by themselves. Amazing. Anyway, there are enough engineers here, and remember these are Anvil engineers, so they repair things like lecker fast, you know, like real split, like really fast. These Churchills are going to be in fighting condition real soon, and Talisman needs more AT. I do not agree with getting this 2nd Ostwind, I really don't. I know it's been useful and it cleared up a 6-pounder, but you need AT right now. Like, that 100 fuel, if you added it to the 57 that he has here, he'd nearly have enough for another Panther, but he'd definitely have enough for a Jagdpanzer. And I think a Jagdpanzer backing up these 2 spicy cats would be enough to deal with 3 Churchills. But as it is, I mean, 3 Churchills, that's so much health in vehicles. Now, he's managed to capture the southern victory point. He's managed to capture the northern one. So the British player, again, finds himself under the clock. But I don't think that'll be for long. Once these Churchills start rolling again, I think bad things will start happening. Mortar cover gets used in pretty good position, and there comes the fallback out of most of the Axis infantry. Oh, no, he's going to lose the Panzer IV. Oh, he needs to get that out. Is there a 6-pounder in the hood? No. 105mm howitzer barrage comes down. That's going to force these tanks to reposition. These engineers are a little bit open right now. Another 6-pounder has arrived for the British forces. Still floating like 500 manpower, awkwardly. Actually, I think he should probably, like, I don't know, build something different. Let's see, how much supply cap is a Churchill? 18. So right now he's got like 54 unit cap in Churchills. 54 unit cap. Because I was just thinking, you know, he's nearly at a 4th Churchill, but I think that might be too much. I don't think you can have enough supporting infantry if that happens. So early warning flares. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Flares will reveal enemy units in adjacent territories. Oh, this is pretty spicy. Look at that, he knows everything. Here comes the 6-pounder and 2 of the Churchills, moving in towards the Panther, which is not being repaired right now. Now, the Panzer IV has been repaired. Repair tool on the Storm Pioneers, of course, making the repair very quickly. But this, they think, is going to be the fight that decides the game, quite possibly. The Panzer IV is getting way up. This is too fast, too close, too close. Now he's just exposing his rear armour to the Churchills. What? What? This Panzer IV needs to be reversing. Remember, it's got extended range and potency on the main gun. This is how to not use a Veterans IV Panzer IV. The Ostwind just throws itself in, and I think Talisman has lost it. I think he's just decided that 3 Churchills is too much. Oh, that's such a shame. This was a fight he really could have taken. Oh dear, that was a mess. I'm sorry, Talisman, I'm just going to hand it to you. That was a really good Panzer IV you just threw away for, like, kind of no return. And the 6-pounder's pushing in now. There's a lot of Churchills, too many Churchills now, and I think that is going to be it. If he calls in another Osman, this is definitely over. He needs to wait for a Jagdpanzer 4, but I'm not sure he's going to have the time. And wow, he really messed up that engagement. Now the Panther does make it to 2-star, and that of course does give it the armoured skirts, which are very important. This Panther is now quite durable, but it's not going to be durable enough to withstand a 6-pounder. The shells on that thing are really, really nasty. So anyway, he's going to get it back here. The Storm Pioneers need to start repairing it. Whoa, he's just going to come forward. Oh, he's trying for the 3-star one. Oh, I think that's an extension too far. The 6-pounder. Whoa, it bounced. Not often a 6-pounder's shells will bounce, so that's pretty crazy. And wow, this Panther. I mean, see what I mean about it being durable, but it's just kind of being forced up against a wall here. Shell after shell from the Churchill is bouncing, and now Churchills don't have the best guns when it comes to tank hunting. In fact, they've got among the worst. They are an infantry tank, and they're not designed for taking on something like a Panther, which is actually slowly kiting this thing down. In fact, there are Volksgrenadiers. Oh no, the grenade! Oh, the massive hyper grenades that the Churchill tanks throw. An amazing shot there from SturmTigerSage6, and justly bringing down some Volksgrenadiers who were completely forgotten about by Talisman. And wow, Talisman, what you gonna do, buddy? This looks real bad. He's got no squads out on the map. He's at 45 supply under 78. He's beginning to lose his tech structures. He's lost his Schwerepanzer HQ, so no more Panthers. He's gonna lose this mechanized regiment HQ. That'll mean no more fuel conversion. Oh, sorry, he hasn't been using fuel conversion anyway. The Vickers gun here, set up at the back, still doing okay actually, suppressing the British Vickers gun, so that's something. The Panther getting repaired as fast as it can. And now the Churchills are just pushing for advantage. Now the scoreline's still reasonably close actually. The British player really needs to grab this. In fact, there is a squad out capping for the British player. Sorry, for the Overcommand player. He's grabbing this munitions point. So I don't know. That's not nothing. Is this a Rakettenwerfer that's just arrived? Oh no! This Rakettenwerfer is at an awkward time arriving because he needs manpower right now in order to order the Jagdpanzer. 400 manpower. So oh no! Where's it going? He hasn't checked his rally. Oh yeah, he has, there we go. But I suspect it's just going to receive a grenade to the face, isn't it? Oh no, Churchill's going to get out. But with 3 Churchills, are they being repaired? Yes, they are being repaired. Whew, I was going to say. 3 Churchills, a 1, a 2, and a 3-star. Wow, I mean, he's got like a straight flush of Churchills. This is pretty cool. Anyway, oh no, the Panther's going to just drive out straight into the 6-pounder here. Whoop, bang, that's going to hurt. But he's going to get around this Churchill. Is he really going to do... I don't like this because the 6-pounder positioning. He needs to... What is he doing? What is he doing? Okay, he got some reasonable damage. Made that look okay. The Rakettenwerfer sneaks in, starts doing damage. Storm Pioneer is going to make a run for the Vickers gun. Interesting. And the Panther is still taking shots here. That thing must be nearly 3-star. Yeah, it's getting there. What does it get at 3-star? Increased mobility and rate of fire. Wow, so a 3-star Panther is really fearsome. The Rakettenwerfer gets gunned down by the Vickers gun. And I don't know. I mean, the other Churchill's getting repaired. Here they come. They're getting repaired at an incredible rate. I mean, look how fast. Look, I'll leave this selected. But look here. That is a Churchill's health we're talking about repairing. 2 5-man squads of Anvil upgraded Royal Engineers. That repairs so quickly. So quickly. Oh my goodness, wow. So anyway, we're going to have a lot of Churchills wailing on this base any second now. And he has chosen the Jagdpanzer. It's like Talisman has heard my calls. And he's actually going to go for the Jagdpanzer. Fantastic stuff. This is the correct unit to choose. I just wonder if it's going to be enough, because he doesn't really have a lot to buffer. And if those Churchills just rush in and get all on top of the Jagdpanzer, then it might as well not be there. So anyway, if this Panther can get 3-star before the main triple Churchill assault, then he's kind of okay, I think. I mean, what the British player needs to do is send a squad to capture this point up here in the north, I think. And just repair all 3 of his Churchills and hit at the same time, because if he keeps repairing Churchill by Churchill and sending them in one at a time, which he's kind of doing right now, I mean, the Axis player has proven that he can deal with that, with these units. So I think the British player needs to change his approach a little bit and look to secure the game in a slightly more safe manner by taking the northern victory point and by repairing all 3 of his Churchills, so he has the maximum possible amount of Churchill-related force ready to commit to a single instance of combat, rather than just cycling his Churchills one by one. Anyway, here comes a Jagdpanzer 4. So that is going to provide a lot of spicy extra firepower. Now he needs to, there we go, it is set to prioritize vehicles. He needs to just position that around here. This Panther is going to get another fantastic hit. Now there's a 6-pounder annoyingly at the back here. If the Storm Pioneers can rush that down, that would be fantastic. Vickers gun gets set up in a decent position, but really wants to be set up more, just slightly further forwards. These Jaeger Lights actually could make a run on get a grenade barrage onto this 6-pounder. That would be sort of crucial. The Jagdpanzer here starting to get some shots in. It has some veterancy, so it got one penetrating hit. And repairing, very rapidly repairing his Panther. I like this a lot out of Talisman. Just repairing it in situ. This is fine if you've just taken a hit or two and you need to be tilting a tank battle into your favour. This kind of in situ repair is absolutely fine. The Jagdpanzer comes forwards, and I don't like this at all. It's now taking 6-pounder fire quite a lot. It needs to back up. It's going to take 2 hits. That's going to put it to nearly half health. And here come the Churchills, just 2. Where's the third? Third's coming in from a nice angle. And the Panther's kind of been forgotten about. Needs to reverse move this as well. This is way too close. The Jagdpanzer's getting all snared up with the tanks on top of it. He prioritizes this 3-pounder, and oh dearie me, the Jagdpanzer there just critically not reversing soon enough and gets caught out. The Panther also in a terrible position. Now its armor's pretty good. It's going to get one of the Churchills. So this is now doing okay. And this Panther's nearly at 4 stars. What does that do? Increasing range and accuracy. Oh my goodness. Now this Panther's in a terrible position. He needs to come forwards and start reversing up here. It's going to get cornered here, cornered and surrounded, and that's going to be really bad. Or he needs to start reversing it around here. It's up to him, but he cannot stay there, get cornered by the Churchills. So yep, there he goes. He's going to scurry around there. Now a 3-star Panther is pretty spicy. The British forces though capping the rest of the map. Where's the 6-pounder in all this? Has it been forgotten about, or is it relocating forwards? It has relocated forwards. Oh, and it's going to find the Panther. It's the Panther in arc. Oh wow, it's killed by Jaeger light infantry. Oh my goodness, there's just too much going on. So Panther now at 4-star. It's going to start coming back in, and he can look to pick off this Churchill. Where's he going to send it? Is he going to send it this way? Yes. He remans the 6-pounder. That's why the 6-pounder has been remanned by Overcommand forces. He's going to get another spicy hit. This Panther needs to push. Panther needs to push. You want to run down this Churchill. Don't let it escape. Run it down. You're a Panther. Big cat hunting. Big cat hunting. You can deal with the one in your base later. This is the most important thing. You need to get the kill here. And it looks like he's realised it. He's going to take the dive. Let's turn on Fog of War here. And he sees it. He sees the British heavy. And there's the final hit. He's going to get it. Now he needs to get this Panther out of here. Using Blitz may even be acceptable. Whoa, rotating the tank in this location? Oh, fair enough, I guess. You've got enemies behind you. I guess I can agree with that. And it's going to return to the fight. That is now a 4-star Panther. That's intimidating stuff. This 6-pounder is going to be taken out. What, the other Churchill burned? Have all the Churchills died? Oh wow, the 6-pounder was able to chalk off the other Churchill in this location. 43 points to 63, and somehow it's the Axis player who's doing okay. Now the 6-pounder gets remanned. He needs to look out for this. It's the only thing on the field that can deal with this Panzer 4, with this Panzer 6. Sorry, wait, it's Panzer 5, the Panther. And so he really needs to deal with the. Needs to deal with the 6-pounder. Oh no, he's just going to sit here and take point-blank rounds. I don't like this at all. Oh, he's going to get out the arc again. Oh my goodness me, he's just toying with me here. He's down to 22 though. Actually, you know what? He's going to bleed out, isn't he? Because these units here, they need to use sprint. These guys do have sprint and get on top of this point. Meanwhile, up in the north, I don't think it can be done because he's on 10. I'm not convinced it can be done, even with this Panther being such a hero and hoovering up so many units. He's capturing north, he's capturing south, but he's not capturing fast enough. He's going to go down to 1 ticket. Oh, this is going to be a cruel, cruel defeat, I fear. And there it is. There it is. He eventually is timed out. Talisman there, playing a reasonable game. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say he just played an okay, a well-deserved win there for SturmTigerSage, using a totally unorthodox British build, bringing Churchills to the field and smashing forth with them. Really, really late British armour, but somehow he was able to hold until he actually was able to get that first Churchill out and then start snowballing. And I think Talisman, there were a number of opportunities where Talisman could have taken that, but he threw away the Panzer IV, the Jagdpanzer did really badly. He chose Oswins at a time when I just think that they were just a really bad choice. But he did get the Panther, and he did keep it alive. And he did get it to 4, maybe 5-star, and you can see the dominating effect that a unit like that can have when it reaches that level of veterancy. And a tense finish as well, as he's able to, as he was capping north and south, he just got timed out on victory points. Whoa. Whoa, okay, he was capping them, but he managed to decap only the unit, the point in the south, because mortar coverage was used, and that has blown up the squad that was capping that. So, wow, going to the super late game between Overcommand and British forces, and a really interesting game to watch there. So, yep, thank you very much to everybody out there for watching, and of course, thank you to these two fine players. Stay tuned for more broadcasts, and for now, this is Magpie842 signing out.